hello everyone. Um, Good day, good afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever you're joining from around the globe. Um, I hope that you are staying cool if you're in the UK or if you're in other parts of the world. I know certainly where I am today in Canada is a bit cool, unusually cool for the summer months. Um, and so, yes, if you don't know me, my name is Cindy Heughen. I'm part of Invictus London, and I work in a vibrant church in southwest London. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother. I have 3 grown children and 5 gorgeous grandchildren. And there's 2 dogs and 2 cats in our family fray. And so today, the Lord has really been putting on my heart to speak to you about trophies and treasures. And so when we consider that topic, I don't know where you've been in the past month, but certainly most people across the globe have been tuning into FIFA football matches or soccer matches, depending on what part of the world you are coming from. And it was quite hard not to be aware of what was going on. And I had the lovely blessing of being able to watch football matches on TV in the UK and also coming to Canada and watching football/soccer matches on TV with friends and family. And whether or not you're a sports fan, it was very compelling to see so many nations competing at such a high level of athleticism. And on that final day, when that trophy was won, you will have also witnessed those tears of triumph and the tears of defeat, as it were. And I found it rather compelling that you also witnessed throughout the tournament many Christian athletes who would bow the knee and they would pray and give thanks, whether it was in the moment of defeat or whether it was in the moment of triumph. And it's interesting because I've done a little bit of research on the whole tournament as a whole. And apparently it had 20 billion views across the FIFA platforms. There were 60 to 64 million USA views for the final itself. Canada, 77% of the population engaged during the process of the tournaments. And there were 3 hosting nations, and the third nation, Mexico, on their round 16 clash, had 36 million views, which was the most viewed sports event in their nation's history. And one further stat was that it generated over 2 billion lifetime views of World Cup content. And so just reflecting on all of that, I found the Lord really speaking to me about trophies and treasures. And what is it in our own lives that draws us to chase after trophies or chase after treasure? And a question for you today is, have you ever won a trophy? Have you ever won an accolade? Be it for a sport event or perhaps something in academia. And man-made recognition is a big part of our culture. And so when we look at a sports event, as has just taken place, it does provide entertainment for the masses. And I certainly know myself, I'm not any big football fan / soccer fan, but I was really drawn into all the social media. And certainly being a Canadian who lives in England, I was drawn into all the posts about Europeans and Brits discovering the absolute beauty across North America and Mexico and the vastness of the creation they found themselves in. And then the humorous bits about finding out they could have endless refills on coffees and endless refills on soft drinks when they went to roadside restaurants or wherever they found themselves, and the hospitality was so special. And it was a lovely sort of cut away from the doom and gloom of the regular media. And so it's taken me, the Lord has really taken me in this time to be reminded of where I hold. Where do we hold? Where do you hold or seek your treasures? And the Bible tells us that the Lord keeps treasures hidden from us, calling to be discovered. In fact, in Daniel 2:22, the verse says, He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in the darkness, and the light dwells in him. It starts off at verse 20 by praise be to the name of God. Forever and ever, wisdom and power are his. He changes the times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. So each of us, as we chase after those treasures, those revelations, those truths, can reflect on these passages. And in Deuteronomy 29:29, it states, the secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow all the words of his law. And so as prophetic people, the Bible is reminding us that we have promises not only to be revealed to us, but for our children, for those we're stewarding in the faith, for those we're mentoring, for those we're discipling, for those finding Jesus for the first time, many in these days who are in younger generations. And these treasures and secrets from God are not meant to be held only tightly by ourselves, but they're not meant to be put under a bucket. They are meant to be shared with others. Proverbs 25:2 explains that while God may conceal matters, it's honorable to search them out. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and to search it out is the matter and the glory of kings. And so you and I, we hold that royal inheritance, and it honors God by answering that nudge, that still small voice, to seek out the secrets, to go into that intimate time and place with him, to sit at his feet, to read his word, to seek him out, not only for ourselves, not only for today, for tomorrow, but as prophetic people, we are called to do this for ourselves, our families, our neighbors, our friends, our cities, our nations, and the world. You know, when it's summertime for myself, I certainly enjoy treasure hunting. And I ask you, are there any special things in the summertime that you like to treasure hunt for? Have you ever been on a treasure hunt? I love to go beachcombing for glass, for that beautiful, worn down, saltwater impacted shards of glass. It's great fun discovering these sanded and worn down pieces. They're all different shapes and sizes, and blue and turquoise are especially the ones to find. They're so rare. They're dumb, they are actually like they're discarded from what would have been previously a glass or bottle or some other beautiful piece of glasswork. And they're tumbled around in water and sand until they're slowly, slowly, slowly broken down. And they take on almost like a creation, homemade recycling, new tone of color and a new feel, very, very soft and smooth. And each one can take 20 to 40 years to be formed, and some even 100 to 200 years to be softened to lovely rounded edges. And as they're sent on that journey of being tumbled around, it's a wondrous rhythm of creation. And so before either you or I ever find them, they're waiting to patiently be discovered. Another example I find, which you can often see on television excavation programs or archaeological digs, are teams of people so passionate to discover treasures and artifacts. They often wear gloves. They use these little toothbrush type of tools, and they literally meticulously brush away. They brush away to discover the secrets. And they don't want to damage the secrets that are being hidden within, dirt and rocks and all kinds of wondrous places where artifacts can be discovered. And I propose for us as Christians that that's a lovely way to consider how we can find ourselves in community, gathering with others we trust, to share, to discern, to reflect, to be accountable, and to seek out treasures from the Lord, like greater revelation, and to proceed in that cautious manner, gently, 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 taking care to discover and not to damage or misinterpret a revelation from the Lord. And another tool that we can use as we focus on God's treasures is to journal. Scribing, revisiting notes and reflections that we may have had years ago as we seek a refinement of a revelation the Lord has given us. And often in the Christian walk, when you're seeking out the greater truth or the greater revelation, it's like walking blindfolded in faith, just trusting in the one who holds that final revelation, that final outcome. And it's a life led really leaning in to the truth of who Jesus is. And a giant of faith in this way, an example of a life who found treasure and conviction, was William Wilberforce, who actually died on this very day, July 29th in 1833. So almost 200 years ago, you had this young man at the age of 21 who was just convicted to fight for truth and justice. And through his faith, he went as a 21-year-old to stand and to go into politics. And when he later had a revisiting of was his purpose, perhaps to go into the church, perhaps he should be vicar or minister, he was wisely advised to stay with his calling and to fight for the truth and justice in politics. And it took 20 years for there to be a ban to the slavery trade. And it took 46 years for the Abolition of Slavery Act to be passed through as a parliamentary law. And that took place on July 26th, 1833, just 3 days before he died. And so you reflect on the reality of his life 200 years ago. And it reminds us of the rhythms and the breath of God, which is breathed in through sitting in that intimate place, that holy space, and say, Lord, where is the treasure? Where is the truth? Where is the revelation that I'm to seek out with you? And yeah, am I in it for the long haul? And do you have the fortitude and the perseverance for that long path ahead? Jeremiah 33:3 states and encourages us to seek God to reveal the great and hidden things. So it is throughout the Bible, throughout the truth of the Word, that God encourages us to seek out the treasure. And so today, as we reflect back on this, there's one additional saint, as it were, of the faith that I'd like to share a prayer from. And that's Saint Benedict of Nursia. And he chose to withdraw from society as a 16-year-old and to go spend time in a cave. And I don't know that each of us have to actually go find our cave, but in a way, summer rhythms offer us that opportunity to withdraw and to set different pace and rhythms and to sit more quietly with the Lord in those intimate places. And for St. Benedict, his seeking out the treasures and the mysteries built him a reputation for holiness and wisdom. And it did attract followers, in which he then set up the Benedict order and established the rule of Saint Benedict, which has shaped the monastic lives for centuries. And so what I'd like to share with you as I draw to a close this afternoon is a prayer that he wrote. And I think it's a great guide for each of us as we seek greater revelation and mystery and truth. I mean, you may be looking for that in your own life in a way that you're facing a situation, whether you're meant to be listening, standing and contending, reflecting, placing something just before the Lord and before the altar and say, Lord, I just don't know what to do. Here it is. This is something I need to discern greater from you. I need to know the treasure that's in this moment. And so I'd just like to encourage you this afternoon that he is calling you. He's calling you to seek treasures. So I'll conclude with this prayer. Gracious and Holy Father, please give us the intellect to understand you, the reason to discern you, the diligence to seek you, the wisdom to find you, a spirit to know you, a heart to meditate upon you, ears to hear you, eyes to see you, a tongue to proclaim you, a way of life pleasing to you, patience to wait for you, and perseverance to look for you. grant us a perfect end, your holy presence, a blessed resurrection, and everlasting life. Amen. So I do hope and pray that wherever you find yourself at this time of year, that you discover great and hidden things. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you soon.